Okay, real quick before the episode starts, I had an idea. I have a couple ideas for challenges for Total Drama Multiverse, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to create like 20 challenges. So if you want to have your challenge featured in a video, you can comment in the comment section a challenge idea for me to do. The only problem is it can't just straight up be a challenge from any of the Total Drama or Adventure Camp seasons. It has to be something you came up with, and it has to be something that'll be at least somewhat difficult because some of the people on here aren't just normal humans. They have powers and stuff, so it can't give a huge advantage to one particular character. Um, but yeah, I that's all I wanted to say. And also one last thing, there is a specific commenter named Twinbro Wolves, and because he or she, I don't really know, comments on like all my videos, I'm giving that person special priority. So you can comment your challenge if you want to, and I'll do yours for the next episode. But if that person doesn't comment, or if you still want me to do one in a later episode, you can do that. All right, I'll get y'all to the video now. See ya. Hello and welcome to the 5th episode of Total Drama Multiverse. This episode will be episode 2 of the game show, as well as a little bit of extra lore at the end. So, yeah. No more intro, so let's just get into it. We pick up right after the elimination ceremony with the crooked procs. Elmo was voted off, which is very funny to me. And on the way back, freaking Fritz takes Izuku over to the side, and it's like, dude, why were you crying? Why have you been crying so much? I get that that was a little weird of the Elmo guy, but like, it's kind of ridiculous. You're a teenager, right? And he's like, no, it's not Elmo, it's freaking Monica, and these two, but mainly Monica, has been bullying the crap out of him, and it reminds him of his old bully, or friend bully, whatever, Bakugo, from home. So he's, it's been boiling up, and he doesn't like it. So Fritz or Foxy, I'm gonna say Fritz, but when I say Fritz, I'm talking about Foxy for all the non-FNAF nerds. Is like, all right, well then, I can probably get Dipper on board, and the three of us can try to get Monica out soon. And Deku or Izuku is like, thanks, that'd be really nice. And then he says, well, at least she's not calling me Deku. He's like, what is that? It's just a bad nickname, whatever. Little did he know, Jinx was listening in behind a tree, and now knows that plan. So yeah. And she comes back and tells it to these two, and they come up with a new plan, which we'll get to during the challenge. Meanwhile, the other two teams are kind of just chilling, except Agent Peely is called over the loudspeaker to come to Chris's tent, and he's told that, and Chris tells him that if he saw him leave to go in, and he saw him go into the place, he has cameras everywhere, and if he sees him go into anything like that again, he will be dealt with. And he doesn't say how, he doesn't specify how. And Agent Peely just says, oh, I'm sorry, I was getting lost. And then he says on the way out to on the Rift Watch that there's been some complications to Hope and Jones. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the pre-challenge. So everyone goes to sleep, and then after they wake up, it's challenge time. So our challenge today is challenge 2, Drama Trap. Players will be put in teams of 2 with their least liked contestant on their team. They will be put in a complex escape room that they will need to work together on to figure out. The two teams to have all their duos complete the escape room first will win immunity for their teams. So these aren't randomized. I made these duos because let's say Chris had them all fill out on a sheet who their least liked contestant was, and if multiple people put the same person, then they would like to put their top 3 least liked. So our first team we'll go over is the Rifted Ravens. Star and Tails were put together, just because they're like polar opposites. And she's like super unfocused, childish, kind of dumb, and reckless, while he's all calculative and smart and he's a lot more competent. And then Kissy and Applejack, just because Applejack's kind of scared of Kissy. So that's why she put her. And then Kissy can tell, so that's why she put her. And then our third and final for this one is Ashley and Peter, just because city dude he grew up in the city his whole life. He's not used to the country, and vice versa. And then Luz has to sit out along with two people. From this team. So I actually forgot to add a. Hold on a second. Sitting out, and that's where Luz is. So she's sitting out of the challenge. So that's the duos of the Rifted Ravens. For the Crooked Crocs, obviously Monica and Izuku. And then Jax got hit with Dipper. And then finally Jinx got hit with Fritz, which will be very important. So that's the three. They don't have anybody sitting out. And then for the Warped Weasels, we have Trump and Scary Girl. I feel like they would go for each other. Toph and Marcy are like opposite personalities. I also wanted to give Toph more screen time because I don't feel like she got any so far. And then in Green Shadow, because one's like a huge killer robot and one's like a superhero plant. So it's like mechanics versus natural. So Ezekiel and once again Agent Peely are sitting out. So yeah. While Zeke and Luz are just sitting watching the screens with all the contestants, they're just chilling, not really talking to each other though. Agent Peely tries to sneak off again, but and as he does, and we'll say like throughout the challenge, he keeps cutting back and forth to him. He gets into the room with the rift thing, but Chris has or with not the rift thing, with the 0 point shard, and he's gonna take it, but Chris has rigged the control panel to where if you don't put it in right, then it'll cause a trap, and he gets caught. So Agent Peely is caught and swooped away, so he will go over here for now. This leads us to the actual challenge part. So we'll just go team by team in terms of like who I think will get it done first. Who I think the first team to finish is I think these two were just put on because they were like opposites, but I feel like they would be fine together. They wouldn't like be friends, but I feel like In would be able to calm Green Shadow down, and they'd just be like truce. They'd be, or not even a truce, they'd just be like, hey, it's okay, we're chill, and then they would work together. And In is a robot, so he'd be able to pretty quickly analyze the escape room, and the two of them would probably make it out first. The next team I think could do it. It would take a little more time, just because neither of them are a robot, but Ashley and Peter, I think both of them, I think Spider-Man obviously is pretty smart, and then Ashley's competent, and it's not like they're going to get into like a huge argument or anything. So I think they'll be the next team to finish their escape room relatively quickly, but still there's a little bit of a time gap. Then I think there's a lot bigger of a time gap, and I think this is when Kissy and Applejack will get out, just because I think at first Applejack would just be literally scared shitless of Kissy, but eventually Kissy will like get her to calm down, and they'll be fine, and Applejack will be cool and apologize for acting the way she did towards Kissy. So these two are now friends a little bit, and she's not scared of her anymore. Then I think the next team would honestly probably be Star and Tails. Actually, they probably went before, just because I think Star would just be screwing around doing nothing, while Tails is just annoyed with Star and is just trying to get it done without her. So while Star's a distraction, actually we'll say they finished after. While Star's a distraction for Tails, Tails just gets it done by himself. So the Rifted Ravens have already won immunity, so they're past the challenge. And then these two have passed. But then I think the next team to do it would actually be, and I'll come to this team, or the next duo to do it though would probably be freaking Marcy and Toph, just because Marcy's really smart. Toph, I think they'd probably get into a little bit of an argument, probably not too much. Toph would probably just call her annoying, and then they'd get a little bit annoyed at each other. But I think Toph would eventually be able to chill out, and I think both these two would make it through relatively quickly. But then there's a huge time jump, and I think the next group to actually go in is Jax and Dipper. And that's because I think at first Jax is just going to be screwing around, making fun of Dipper. But I think eventually Dipper will be able to just tell him, hey, we don't want to lose too. You can pick on me or whatever. I'm used to it. But just wait till after the challenge. And Jax is like, whatever. And then they get it done. Then we come to the next group of two that I think is going to make it. And I think that's actually Jinx and Fritz. And what happened with these two is after Jinx overheard Fritz and Izuku talking yesterday, she doesn't like the fact that she could lose an alliance member because of Fritz. So she is kind of just all over the place in terms of skill sets. So I'm going to say she's able to hack into Fritz's thing, or not Fritz, but Foxy's robot system, and he's able to hack it into being her servant. But Fritz is still in there, but he can't do anything. So it's kind of like a Mal situation, where Fritz can see what's happening, but he can't control it. So now Fritz is basically her minion, and she gets him. I'm going to say Foxy. I'm not going to say Fritz, but Foxy's basically her minion now, and Foxy's able to finish the whole thing for them. This leads us to our last two. In this room, Monica has been just straight up pissing off Izuku, and just rage baiting Izuku and being an asshole to Izuku, and because Monica really doesn't like Deku, just finds him incredibly annoying, and just hates him, and obviously Izuku feels the same about Monica. But also, part of whenever Jinx told Monica and Jax about their plan, she also told Monica about the fact that Izuku hates being called Deku. So Monica's been won't call Izuku anymore. Monica's only going to call him Deku, and that's a bad thing for him at this stage in his timeline. So he hates it. He's trying to figure it out. Monica's not helping. Monica's just tormenting. And then down here with Trump and Scary Girl, which is a wild duo, by the way. Scary Girl's not very bright. She's just more brawn than brain. And and Trump's scared of Scary Girl. So I think it would take a while for them to even start to work together. I think Scary Girl would just spend most of the time trying to screw with Trump, but I think eventually they'd probably make it through before these two. These two would probably have a huge screaming match, and then like right when they're almost done, because I mean Deku's pretty smart, or Izuku's pretty smart, and Monica, I mean, she's relatively smart, I would guess. She's an AI. So I think both of these two would be close to finishing, but their argument would push these two to finish just before them. So the Warped Weasels win immunity, and the Crooked Crocs actually lose a second time in a row. So after the challenge, Dipper is pissed at Monica, and Jax and Jinx are pissed at Deku, and everyone's pissed at these two, pretty much. Even these two are kind of annoyed at Monica for letting her feelings get in the way and just bullying Deku when they could have. Now they have to vote off another person. But Izuku is kind of weirded out because he tries to go tell these two what happened, and Foxy's not really caring. He's barely paying attention. He's kind of just looks like he's just sitting there lifeless. But Dipper is like, I don't really know what's going on with him. He's trying to look in him. It's like he's not even there. And then Dipper comforts Izuku, who's crying in the cabin. But Dipper starts to say it's kind of annoying how much of a wimp he is, because Dipper wasn't actually there when Fritz had the conversation with Izuku, and Fritz was hacked by Jinx before, and turned into just Foxy before he could tell Dipper. So come elimination time, the only other thing I need to say before we get to the actual elimination is the Warped Weasels, especially Ezekiel and Trump, which, why am I forgetting? Okay, yeah, you're here. Especially Ezekiel and Trump are trying to figure out where the heck Peely is, because these two are aligned with him, and they're really confused because they see, obviously, Ezekiel comes back, and then Luz comes back, and then Agent Peely doesn't. So Ezekiel just says, yeah, I don't know, he just said he's going to go use the restroom and never came back. So then it comes to the elimination ceremony, and Chris isn't there, and there's so everyone's really confused. So everyone's just like, should we just vote? And then they do. And Dax, what the heck? That's a rapper. Why did I say Dax? None of these people even start with D except Dipper, and that's nowhere near Dax. Izuku and Dipper vote for Monica because they're under the impression that Fritz was also going to vote Monica, and they were going to force a tiebreaker between Monica and Izuku, and Izuku's been trying to train for this. But of course, Jax, Monica, Jinx, and Fritz, because he's now hacked and he's just Foxy, all vote Izuku, and Izuku is gonna be voted out when Chris eventually runs in and he's like, okay, y'all can vote. They're like, we already did. He's like, oh, okay, I'll just read the votes because it doesn't even matter anyway. And he goes, okay, it's 2 votes Monica, 4 votes for Izuku, and one of them even says Deku on it, and it's hers. Actually, 2 of them say Deku on it. Hers and his both say Deku on it, and these 2 just say... Actually, no, this one does too. I think all 3 of these would say Deku, and this one would say Izuku, because Jinx overheard it and is also kind of an asshole. Monica hates Izuku, and he's hacked. So I think these 3 would all say Deku. So now the only person who knows that about Deku is him, as far as he knows. So he now hates him. But he starts to get up and leave, but he's like, well, it doesn't matter anyway, because we actually had someone eliminated for breaking the rules, and that's Agent Peely is eliminated. So there, Izuku's thankful and vows revenge on Fritz, aka Foxy, and Monica, and these 4 in general. While these 3 are pissed, especially this one, Foxy doesn't really respond at all and just kind of walks away. So Dipper's starting to get really confused on what happened to him. So he says he's gonna try to investigate. Sorry, I got interrupted. Where were we? You were here. Okay. So after the elimination ceremony, Dipper, like I said, wants to investigate you. These 3 are pissed. Zuko's happy and vows revenge, yada yada. Okay, and then we cut to a cell that has Agent Peely chained up, and he wakes up and he looks over, and in the cell across from him, Elmo's just there, and he's just sitting there. He's fine. Like, there's a TV in there. It's playing the most recent episode because Chris is such a narcissist that their only form of entertainment is to watch the episode. But there's just other forms of entertainment in there, and that's the holding cell for when they're going to be transported back at the end of the season. But Agent Peely's in a different cell, and Chris walks in and is like, yeah, I wasn't lying. I'm sending everyone home, but I warned you, and you're going to get thrown in. And Agent Peely acts all scared, but he doesn't really think that's a problem, because he rustles down his shirt sleeve and gets the wristwatch and asks for a code red on the wristwatch. So he alerts Hope and Jonesy. So that's it for this episode. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I hope y'all will be excited to see what happens next with him. Now, even though he's eliminated, he's definitely not done with these two and with these other two teams, because there's been a lot of drama on this team, but I haven't really gotten to these two teams yet, especially this team. So maybe that'll be the next episode. Maybe it won't. It definitely will. But anyways, I'll see y'all in the next one, and goodbye.